Thanks very much, Jim. Today I'm here to present an update on Millennium Minerals. The title of our presentation is a step change in production, and what we're trying to do is bring our gold production profile from 80,000 ounces to 100,000 ounces per annum. A lot of the people in this room that I've spoken to yesterday and through today would be aware of the Millennium story. We were here about 2.5 years ago, and we were part of an executive team that was charged with the challenge of fixing a company that was effectively on its knees, and it was in crisis. So it had very little in the way of cash. It was littered with debt, and it had very little way in a sustainable mine life in front of it. And so when we came here to this conference, the Rising Stars investors, we pitched a story whereby if we could raise some money, we could resurrect this company. And we got very little support outside of the funds and institutions, and in fact it was the Resource Rising Stars investors that backed us in. And I think one of the success stories of Millennium, and I think the investors that backed us in at that point in time, is that within 12 months we were able to turn the company around. And we moved from a strategy of management and of survival and crisis to one where we set a really strong foundation from which we hope to sort of launch and actually build further value for our shareholders. So look, last year we came back and we outlined how, on the basis of the turnaround in operations and the free cash flow we were now generating from the operations, how we were going to reinvest that, and that was all predicated on bringing high-grade ore sources into our processing plant. And the biggest challenge we had there is that we knew where the high-grade gold was, we just didn't have a processing option to treat that high-grade gold. So last year we came here and we sort of outlined a three-pronged strategy on bringing higher grade gold into our plant to lift our production profile, but more importantly, how we were going to reduce our cost base and increase our margin and build towards providing a dividend to those investors that supported us at our time of need. So the corporate overview, I won't labour for too long, but one of the key points I want to make is that we've made a $5 million company now into a $130 to $150 million company. We've retired our debt, we've got a reasonably strong balance sheet. And how we did that was, the only thing we changed to this operation to achieve that turnaround was change people. And as we now set ourselves for the next step change in our operations, we've again gone out and sought the best people that we could find in industry. And last year we talked about Peter Lester, who sits on our board. He comes from Oxiana. Tim Kennedy, the Independence Group. And in the 12 months since I was here, we've also appointed Dean Will as our COO. He's joined us from Anglo American. And Ray Parry used to be the CFO of a company you guys know well, which is Northern Star. And why that's important is that we're not here now to build a $150 million company. It's how do we now make a $1 billion company? And to do that, you need people, and people who have done it before. So we've slowly but surely built that team, and it's going to be critical to how we execute on our strategy. So as we've been back out into the marketplace and reintroducing the Millennium story, not just here in Australia but also globally, we found that we're getting a lot of consistent questions that it took us a long time to explain. So what we've constructed is this video, and we're going to play it for 5 minutes and then I'll come back. But it's a 5-minute snapshot that will explain most things to people that would potentially take me an hour to explain. So I'll play this and then we'll come back.
A debt-free balance sheet and a clear pathway to delivering substantial increases in production and mine life. These are the hallmarks of Australian gold producer Millennium Minerals as it unlocks the significant value of its flagship Nullagine gold project in Western Australia. Located approximately 1,300 kilometres northeast of the state capital, Perth, Millennium's 100% owned Nullagine project is located in the heart of the world-class Pilbara Mineral District, home to some of Australia's largest mining operations. The project is well serviced by local infrastructure, located 185 kilometres north of the key regional centre of Newman. Gold production at Nullagine is sourced from 6 mining centres located along a 40-kilometre long mine corridor, which has produced over 400,000 ounces from shallow oxide pits since operations commenced in 2012. Production has averaged around 75 to 80,000 ounces a year, with the company's focus on mining larger scale, longer life deposits in an effort to establish more sustainable, lower cost ore sources now paying strong dividends. Collectively, Millennium's Nullagine tenements cover 264 square kilometres of the highly prospective and underexplored Mosquito Creek Gold Belt and host a total resource base comprising over 1.1 million ounces of gold with exceptional growth potential. Project infrastructure at Nullagine includes the modern Golden Eagle carbon-in-leach ore treatment plant, which has current throughput of 2 million tonnes per annum. A feasibility study is nearing completion for a significant upgrade to the plant, which will allow it to process all ore types at Nullagine, including the extensive inventory of deeper sulphide ore. The proposed modifications, which are estimated to cost in the order of $15 million, include the addition of a small concentrating circuit to the tail end of the existing CIL plant. The basis of the new process, which has historically been used across the Western Australian goldfields, is the scavenging of unleached sulphide minerals from the CIL tailings and subjecting them to ultrafine grinding and intense cyanidation in order to extract the gold. The implementation of these modifications will allow Millennium to re-optimise its entire mineral resource inventory and significantly expand its reserve base, putting the company firmly on track to realise its objective of establishing a plus 5-year mine life with average gold production of plus 100,000 ounces per annum. Millennium's ability to realise this growth objective is also underpinned by an extensive and ongoing project-wide exploration campaign targeting the extensive organic growth opportunities within the Nullagine Gold Project area. One of the most exciting growth opportunities is the potential for new discoveries at depth, given the very limited extent of deeper drilling below the many shallow oxide deposits. Of the 30 deep targets identified at Nullagine, only 4 have been tested to date, all delivering highly encouraging results. At Bartons, a maiden underground resource and reserve has paved the way for development of the first ever underground mine at Nullagine, where development has commenced with the first ore to be delivered to the processing plant during December 2018. Following the outstanding success at Bartons, Millennium has replicated this exploration approach at Shearers and Golden Gate, where impressive drilling results at depth have clearly established the potential for future underground mining. Conceptual underground mine designs have been prepared and work is underway to define ore reserves. Alongside this emerging underground potential, oxide exploration also remains a key focus at Nullagine. Recent drilling has delivered thick, high-grade intersections across multiple prospects, spanning the entire length of the Mosquito Creek mineralised corridor from the southwest to the northeast, demonstrating the entire region's exceptional growth potential. Through a combination of geological, geophysical and geochemical analysis, Millennium has built a detailed understanding of the stratigraphic controls on gold mineralisation across the Nullagine project area. These advances have allowed the company to sharpen its priority exploration search space, while also clearly defining the prospective mine stratigraphic corridor. Recent exploration has defined a number of high-priority targets, which will be actively pursued in the months ahead as Millennium works to deliver on its goal of extending mine life and increasing production at Nullagine. Beyond Nullagine, Millennium owns the only gold processing plant in the region, offering outstanding potential for toll treatment and regional consolidation opportunities. Underpinned by strong and consistent cash flows, Millennium's strategy to deliver a step-change increase in production and mine life at Nullagine is now being realised. With a clear focus and a well-defined vision for its future, Millennium is advancing rapidly towards its goal of becoming a substantial Australian gold producer with a bright future and exciting growth outlook.
So we'll just move into some of the detail now. So I'll just focus on the operations. So the heartbeat of our company is our revenue stream. And what we've managed to do is create consistent, strong cash flows from mining multiple small satellite pits. The changes for the operation have sort of been well advanced, and we're now moving to larger scale deposits, more sustainable. So the premise of that is that we can bring in bigger gear, lower our cost base. With that being said, we're now opening up several large open pits through the course of this quarter and next quarter. And we're going to see, if you look at the bottom right-hand screen, the production profile drops off this quarter, our cost base goes up. And we've flagged that clearly to the market. We don't want to surprise anybody on that front. But it's all about a means to an end. And as we do that and we make that big investment through the course of this quarter and next quarter, we'll open up those higher grade ore sources that we can then start treating. And you'll see, our production profile goes up towards the end of this year, and then it plateaus off and we start to be producing at a 100,000 ounce rate, and our all-in sustaining cost drops. If we look at the positive expansion study, so, this is something we've worked on really hard over the course of the last 18 months. We've spent a lot of money, a lot of time resolving this, given that the largest part of our resource base is categorised as sulphide or fresh ores. The solution that we've come up with has been an absolute breakthrough. It's been one of the biggest things that's happened to the company in our time here. $15 million capital spend is far less than what we were expecting through the course of our pre-fees last year. But the most important thing for us is that it has a very low operating cost base. It's a very simple process, it's well understood, and we'll have this in, we've already ordered the long lead items, and this will be commissioned through Christmas, and we'll be treating our first sulphide ore through this new processing facility come Q1 next year. We've made a lot of noise about the exploration potential and the upside at Nullagine. The premise again was that as soon as you drill deeper than say 40, 50 metres, the gold that you find would be untreatable. Now that we've resolved that processing optionality, we've really gone hard at the underground, testing all of our deposits at depth. And we keep saying we've got over 30 deposits we've defined, and every single one of them's open. So last year, we introduced the Bartons deposit. We drilled underneath 4, Bartons being one. And what we saw here was outstanding results directly below the open pit that we'd mined. We drilled it out, and through the course of last year, we completed a pre-feasibility study, then a feasibility study. In January this year, we appointed the preferred underground mining contractor, and we started this underground development about 8 weeks ago. And first ore, high-grade ore, will come from this, from our first underground at Bartons sort of towards the fourth quarter of this year. The most important thing to understand is we only drilled it out to 5 levels. It's much cheaper for us to mine down, get the underground started and drill it out from depth, but we've drilled enough underneath it to know that the ore body continues. It's certainly got strike extents. And this is only one of what we believe will be a multiple underground mining province. We've drilled under 4 so far, and 3 of them present as legitimate underground mining opportunities. And again, it's all about bringing high-grade ore sources into our processing plant. And that has a direct correlation of improving our margins and reducing our cost base. At the same time, in parallel, if it's not enough that we're just going underground, we're also expanding our plant, we're also committed to our exploration efforts. We've got 4 drill rigs turning, and we have done so now since the beginning of 2016. The results we see on screen here, I'm not going to go through them, they're literally the new discoveries we've made this year alone. And it tells me that my exploration guys or our exploration team are starting to really understand this belt. We also made an announcement yesterday, 3 brand new discoveries in 1 mining centre yesterday alone. So the upside in this area is massive. And now that we've sort of got that processing solution in place to treat the higher grade, deeper ores, supplemented with these oxide ore feeds, we can sort of see a real sustained future in this belt for at least 5 years, and we sort of can see that this place will be operating easily in 10 years' time. Just going to hold up briefly one of the discoveries we made last year, and it's sort of a testament to our people and the quality of the people we have in our business. This Redbeard discovery was made through rock chipping and geological mapping in October last year. We put our first drill hole in this in November last year. We had a maiden resource come out in January, maiden reserve in end of Q1 of this year, and this deposit, this high-grade deposit that was only discovered in November last year, will be in our mine plan and actually being processing gold come September this year. And I don't think there's too many mining companies in Australia that could boast something from a virgin discovery all the way through approval processes, drill outs, and be producing gold bars within 9 months. And we've got multiple of these sorts of things. So if we look at the key takeaways, the project itself, the operations we've refined. We know what we're doing there. We've brought our cost base down to a limit whereby we can't bring it down any further unless we bring in higher grade ore sources. But we've used that cash flow to unlock, the processing optionality as well as, the higher grade underground ore sources. So we spend our money wisely. We are debt free. We have not come back to the equity or debt market since 2015. The expansion study on the processing optionality is now complete and it's underway. Underground resource base is going to continue to grow, and we'll see at least, I believe, a second approved underground mine before the end of this year, and we're going to see some real critical mass from that. All underpinned by our exploration efforts. $20 million last year we spent, again self-funded out of operations, and this year we'll spend about $16 million. So I'm running 15 seconds over. That's sort of our commitment to our shareholders, and we sort of outlined it last year. 3 parallel work streams to change and to step change Nullagine Gold Project, and they're all happening right now. So if you've got any further questions, please join us at our booth and we'll gladly answer anything you've got.